Hi, I'm Rajiv, and today I'm at Rose Hill Farm, a beautiful orchard here in upstate New York, where we're gonna learn a lot about apples. I'm here with Kevin Clark, who is orchard manager here at Rose Hill Farm. Kevin, how long have you worked here?
I've been here 7 years.
7 years. And you love doing this.
I love doing this.
It's always great to meet someone who really is enjoying their work, especially for me, someone that's working with their hands and being able to see the actual product of what they're doing every day. This farm is really old, right?
Yes, it was established in 1798. Early on, it was a dairy farm, and then over time transitioned into a fruit farm. So here now we have peaches and plums, blueberries, strawberries, apricots, cherries.
Wow.
And then it all kind of leads up to the fall harvest of the apples.
So what kind of apples are these on the trees here?
Fuji.
Fuji apples. I know that variety, but you grow, how many varieties of apples do you grow here?
There's 160 different varieties here.
160.
Yeah, not all of them are bearing now, but we start harvesting the earliest variety of apple in mid-August, and then the latest ones in mid-November.
Wow.
I've got a table set up with a few different varieties. Shall we go try them?
Oh, yes, please. I would love that.
So we have a number of different varieties of dessert apples, and then in the past several years we've planted a lot of cider specific apples or heirloom apples that we use for cider.
I'm fascinated to learn what the different uses are for the different apples. So I grew up in Toronto and I worked at a historic site for over 10 years where I dressed up as a pioneer every day, and I did blacksmithing and woodworking and sheep shearing and spinning the wool into yarn, and we had a little apple orchard, and the sheep would graze like under the apple trees. It was like a little piece of heaven on earth. So I know that apples were grown in Canada, in the US, by very early settlers because they could keep them through the winter, and I know sort of vaguely that the varieties were very important for different uses, like cooking, cider, eating.
Yeah, so on this side, these would be eating apples,
okay,
or dessert apples, culinary apples. Over here, we use these all for cider making. But this would be Bramley seedling, which would be great for a pie.
Look at this apple, this big boy. That is huge.
Shall we taste it?
Yes, please. Bramley's seedling.
Seedling, yeah.
So when you say dessert apple, you don't mean an apple that would be used to cook into a dessert. You mean that the apple is consumed directly as dessert.
Right.
Okay.
Fresh eating.
So
and a lot of them have culinary purposes too.
So there's sort of crossover.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover.
Okay. Of the eating apples, what is the most popular with people? Because people can actually come here and pick their own apples, right?
Right. A lot of people come for the old standards like McCown or Macintosh.
This is a Macintosh?
That's Macintosh.
Oh yeah. Wow. Why is it that the apples that I would get from picking them right off the tree here taste so different than the grocery store?
Tree ripened fruit is amazing, and a lot of times in the grocery store it's been in storage. So this is Bramteau. It's a French bittersweet cider apple.
Whoa.
It's drying your tongue out, right?
Yeah, it was like a sponge that went. What's this apple?
It's Redfield. It is an apple bred for making applesauce.
Okay.
Pink applesauce.
Wow.
Let's try Jonagold.
Jonagold?
It's a cross between Jonathan and Golden Delicious.
Okay. So this Jonagold, you said, was a cross between Golden Delicious And the Jonathan apple?
Right.
How do you do that? Like, do you physically do that on the tree?
So there's breeding programs, one up in Geneva, and they'll take pollen from this variety and pollen from another, cross it, get the seed from that, and plant the seeds, grow trees from that, and then select.
Okay.
All the apple trees in an orchard like this are planted onto a rootstock.
Yep.
Because apples are heterozygous, so if you take a seed from Asopus Spitzenberg and plant that seed, we're guaranteed we will not get Asopus Spitzenberg.
Really?
Really.
What do you get?
The options are unlimited.
So you don't know what you're gonna get if you plant a seed from this apple?
No, it could be the next best cider apple.
Yeah.
It could taste like cardboard.
So if I wanted this Asopa Spitzenberg apple, we've established that I cannot take the seed, plant it in the ground, grow a tree, and expect to get this apple. So if I wanted to propagate this apple, how would I do it?
So in the winter,
Yeah.
when the trees are dormant, you would go to the Asopus Spitzenberg tree, cut a piece of 1-year-old wood, and then use that wood to put on a rootstock or another tree. So for instance, we have 2 rows of Paula Red, and the Paula Red is, although I love it, it's a pretty mundane apple. It's an early apple that most people don't care for. So we top worked those 2 rows in 2019 to mostly cider-specific varieties.
So you changed the Paula Red
Changed the Paula Red.
using the established trunk.
Right.
I had no idea that you could do that.
It's an amazing process.
Where did you learn how to do this? Here?
Yes. I fell in love. Once you see the buds breaking, once you do the grafting, and then you see a bud break out of it, my life was forever changed.
Wow.
And
That's
then you see a
amazing.
tree come out of that, and then
Was it an unexpected love, falling in love with apple trees?
it was. So my first year here, the manager at the time brought me a Paula Red. This is the earliest apple that we have here,
Really? The earliest fruiting.
fruiting variety of apple.
Okay.
He came down the hill and he's like, try this. So I tried it and said, that's one of the best things I ever put in my mouth. And genuinely was. I'd never had a fresh apple off of the tree. And you having tasted an apple off the tree fresh, it's hard to beat.
Yeah, when you said dessert apple and you kept saying that, and I was a little confused about, wait, cooking with the apple to make a dessert, and you clarified, no, eating it as dessert. Putting this apple into your mouth right off the tree is really like candy. It's spectacular. I never met my maternal grandfather, my mom's dad, but because he passed away when he was very young. But my mom would recollect that one of the things he loved doing in Sri Lanka was grafting roses. And she would watch him. Apparently my maternal grandfather was very meticulous. And she would say she would watch him. He would cut a branch from one plant and then put it onto another one. And this rose bush would have like different colored roses on it. And it always seemed to me kind of not possible. So then I started trying to do it. It never worked. So I'm very curious to see the product of what it is you do here.
So I'd love to show you. So this is a topwork tree.
Yeah.
So we came in, cut the top out of the tree.
That was growing and alive.
Growing and alive.
And what kind of tree was that?
This was a gala tree.
Okay.
So we wanted to change it to a different variety. And then we take a dormant scion.
Scion. That's technically the term for the
Yeah,
dormant.
dormant 1-year-old wood.
Yep.
And we insert it into the bark where the cambium would line up.
Wow.
And then it grows up into your tree.
So this is the old variety, the Gala variety.
Yes.
And that's the new variety.
Right.
And all of this is going to be the new variety?
Yes.
The Gala won't affect what's growing up here?
No, so anything down here, this will still be gala.
Oh.
And we'll cut all this off in the winter, and then you'll just have your new tree. These are some trees we did last spring.
Okay.
So spring of 2022.
Yep.
Here's your 2-year-old wood back here that may have fruit on it next year.
That's so cool that you now know how to do this.
Yes.
Like, it must feel like a real,
It blows my mind.
yeah, it blows my mind too. This has been so fascinating, Kevin. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing all your knowledge with us.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you to everybody at Rose Hill Farm, and thank you for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you like me, please check out my own personal YouTube channel at Rajiv Surendra. That's all there is. There is no more. Goodbye.